Alright, I'm making this video to show you how to change out the bottom seat foam on a 1998 to 2002 Pontiac Trans Am that has the power side bolsters and the power lumbar here. Now online, nobody lists that they sell a 98 to 02 seat foam kit. They do sell the 93 to 97. Now I know the top half here is completely different from a base Firebird. You can't use the top foam from a Firebird seat. I've taken this apart. It's really hollow in there. It's completely different. But the bottom from 1993 to 2002 Firebirds is exactly the same. And then in 1997 they started using that same lower seat foam on the Trans Ams also. So 97 to 02 uses the same seat foam all the way from 93 to 02. The only difference is I think the 93 to 96 Trans Am has a different bottom half because the center section right here is a lot longer and it lifts up and down. So I went online, Classic Industries, and wouldn't verify it would work, but luckily there's a parts store about 20 minutes from my house, and I bought the 93 to 97 seat foam kit, and when I picked it up, it actually says 98 to 2002 or 93 to 2002 Camaro, and of course they say the Camaro is the same as the Firebird. So I pulled up the seat foam and it actually looks the same. Nice high quality piece. Seat foam should be pretty white like that. You'll see when I take this one apart, it gets really dark yellow as it gets older and older. Now the only part I'm concerned about is the sides here are a little aggressive. I don't know if the leather will stretch that far. I might have to kind of shave that down a little bit. But even what it listed for 93 to 97 never had a side that's that tall like that. So let's get started. Okay, I didn't show taking the seat out of the car. It's easy to do. All you need is a 13mm ratchet socket and a number 2 screwdriver. I can have the seat out in 5 minutes. So make sure that you have the driver's seat at its highest possible point when you take it out, because otherwise if you don't, you'll never be able to get to the bolts on the bottom. When you flip it back, there's basically 4 bolts you have to remove to get the seat frame off. There's one on each side in the front. Hard to see with the camera. And then there's one on each side in the back. Take those off. And there's also the side piece here with the switches. There's a number 2 screw on the back down in here, in that hole right there. So that comes right off, and then the seat foam is ready to do some work. Okay, the lower frame is removed. Now you'll notice I have a couple extra wires that you wouldn't usually have. These are for my seat heaters. I have electric seat heaters on the top and back. But now there's a lot of parts on these seats that are universal left and right. So if you notice, this seat really doesn't look too bad. It's actually got a nice shape to it, even though it's really uncomfortable, even though it's newer. This is actually a passenger seat that I bought, and I retrofitted it to a driver's seat because there's a lot of things that you can reuse. So basically everything that's interchangeable. The metal seat frame is the same left and right. The leather is the same. The upper and lower seat foam is both the same. So is the actual leather back with the plastic stitch on it. That is the same left and right. So you can use the foam, the leather, the metal cage. The part that you can't reuse is the seat back metal frame, and you can't reuse the headrest or the plastic backing, because the plastic backing, of course, you have your quick release on the one side. So that won't work. The only difference is if you use the bottom leather from a passenger seat, you'll have a small hole right here on the inside, and right here too, but who cares? It's next to center console. You can't even see it, because the difference would be when this came off of a passenger seat, the actual reclining leather is bolted on the other side. But that's why this seat looks pretty good, and that's why my bolster here actually looks really good. It's no wear because they were getting in and out of the car on the other side. And since passenger seats usually don't have a lot of wear, a lot of use, I mean, I literally only have a small little mark there and there, and that right there, that's it. So the seat looks great. It's just very, very uncomfortable. As the seat foam gets older, it dries out, it gets more brittle, and it starts to tear. It really starts to tear in half in this area right there and there. You'll see when I take it out, it's tearing. And what happens is when you sit, the springs compress, and you're actually feeling the edge of this metal frame right here, because the center part comes through, and you actually feels like you're sitting on a metal frame. Your legs are getting no support. It's all pretty much right on your butt. You're getting all your support right here, but you're not feeling this anymore. So changing out the foam is going to be a big difference. To get the seat back off, you pretty much have to remove the 2 bolts on this side, 13mm, and you need a Torx bit to remove that guy. And that's it. Then the lower seat half is removed. Okay, front half is removed. Now on the inside you'll see that there's Velcro that attaches to the seams of the actual seat. You just kind of pull it right up. This is my seat heater right here. Carbon fiber seat heater. Great investment. They're about $50 on Amazon. And they get really warm really fast. Very easy to hook up. So just keep on removing the seat. A little tough to do with one hand. Coming apart. Flip it over. And now I got some slack on this back clip here. And it just pulls right off. And that's really all there is to getting the leather off. Okay, here is the seat foam difference. The new one, nice and white. And the old one is a nice, beautiful yellow. And as you can see, like I was saying, it's starting to tear down the sides here. The bolster's ripping off. And it just doesn't have the padding like it used to. I mean, I can squeeze this together like nothing. When you go to the new one, it actually takes a lot more force to squeeze that together. So it's going to have a lot more cushion. And then, of course, here again is the seat heater. Now, the new seat foam, literally, it just lays on the metal. I mean, there's really nothing securing it. You see the little grooves that goes across up here. There's a little angled section that fits on. And it's on there nice and firm, just like it should be. Now, the sides look a little more aggressive. It's a lot firmer, so I might have to shave a little bit off just to get the leather on, or I'm going to have to really squeeze it down and really push that leather on. Okay, she took some work, but the leather actually didn't go on too bad. So, had to definitely stretch it because, holy cow, that was a tight fit. That foam is a lot more dense than the other. Now, the Velcro on the sides, as I said, I'm more and more because the sides were a little taller than the original one. I could always shave it down. I might do that. But I think it'll stretch and wear in and then have its nice look. Now, the one thing I forgot to do, don't forget to do it, is they don't cut the foam. The vacuum hose from the top half of the seat goes through here. So I'm going to have to pop it back off and cut a little hole so that way it can go through. I don't want to tuck it behind because there's actually a metal lip right there, and I got a thing that's going to wear right through the vacuum hose. Okay, here it is, totally installed. Nice and firm. I actually did end up, like I showed, trimming down these so they're not a straight edge, they're a nice angled edge. I mean, the side bolster height now is incredible. It's nice and firm. The whole padding section here, I mean, it feels almost like a Cadillac seat. It's beautiful compared to what it was. If you look at the side bolster, how high this thing is now, it's about 4.5 inches from the max. Let's go around to the passenger. Now the passenger I'm still going to redo, and you can see it hasn't been used that much, but it's still collapsing. So 3.5. So you're talking 2-inch difference on that side bolster. And again, you don't have the support here or here because the foam was worn out, so pretty much your ass is taking all the abuse, and it's not comfortable for a long trip. So don't be uncomfortable in your 4th gen. Get yourself a seat cover or a seat foam.